Well, hello and welcome to Examining the Scriptures. It is a delight to have you here again and to be memorizing God's Word with you. This month we have a very short verse, Psalm 105, verse 4. Psalm 105, so popular to those who want to give thanks to God and truly rejoice in Him. I love, give thanks to the Lord, call upon His name, make known His deeds among the peoples, sing to Him, sing praises to Him, tell of all His wondrous works, glory in His holy name. Let the hearts of those who seek the Lord rejoice. Seek the Lord and His strength, and seek His presence continually. This is one of those great Thanksgiving psalms that reminds us of the greatness of God, and we want to focus on this one little verse because if we understand it and apply it, it will change our lives. Really, there's two commands with consequences. So the first command is to seek the Lord. Seek the Lord. This is a passionate pursuit, a decision that we make to actually pursue who He is. Lord is the concept of master, of the one we will obey. So when it says seek the Lord, it's saying seek the one, personal relationship, who you will submit to completely. Now here, I would say an overflow of that first command, and His strength. This is an acknowledgement of two things. The first is of our own weakness, our own desperate need. Kind of reminds you of John 15. Apart from Him, we can do nothing. Seek the Lord personally as your master, so you will obey Him. Seek His strength. Now it's the one we depend on. It acknowledges our weakness and His strength. In other words, we're saying, I want to know this master. I want to experience His strength. I want to be one of those who is so close to Him that in the midst of anything I can give praise and thanksgiving and live my life for Him. That's command number one. Command number two, that doesn't look very much like a one, does it? Command number two, seek. Now we're back again to this choice to pursue His presence, literally in Hebrew, His face, continually. What is this talking about? Well, this is what Jerry Bridges has stated to be seeking the conscious presence of God all the time. In fact, he argues this is so important that if you get this, if you truly get this, seeking His presence continually, you will actually be revived. You'll experience a new life and a new love for Him. Well, why is that? Well, because when we're setting before us His face, His presence, His person, it always does two things. I suppose it does way more, but it always does two things. The first is it keeps us from sin. This is the idea that when we know He is with us, it causes us to be afraid to sin, to not want to offend Him, to allow our lives to be such that reflect the glory of who He is, to really, we could argue, be holy. If you know that God is with you at all times, if you seek His face, His presence continually, all of the time, 24/7, you'll be one who will be living a holy life. You'll be one who will be scared to sin and not want to sin, and you could even say loved to be holy because you want to please Him. Secondly, it also not only keeps us from sin, but it gives us courage. Because when we know that God is with us, this is the whole concept of Matthew 28, 16 to 18, where you get that whole concept of God being with us always, Jesus, the Lord, being with us always, even to the very end of the age. Or Psalm 16:8, having set the Lord constantly before me, I will not be afraid. I'm one who will seek His presence continually. So I hope what you're doing as you memorize this psalm, meditate on it, is ask the question, well, how do I do this? And I want to give you two ways to do this, and they're fairly simple. First is to memorize. Now, to memorize, what we just mean is memorize verses like this. So you say, okay, I'm going to be one who seeks the Lord in His strength, seeks His presence continually. I'm going to do this. And then you pray in this memorization, and you have this verse on your mind at all times to remind you of how great He is. So memorize. The second is figure out ways to put remembering stones. Call them remembering stones. It doesn't have to be a stone. Things that remind you of who He is and that He's with you. And if you can constantly live in His presence, I guarantee you of two things. Your life will be pure and your life will be powerful. So would you, with me, seek the Lord and His strength. Seek His presence continually. And if you memorize, and if you remember, and if you live in His presence continually, you will have the passion and the power and the purity to make an eternal difference to the praise of His glorious grace. And this has been Examining the Scriptures.